Update. I think my wife is faking her amnesia. Original post. My wife was in a car crash 2 months ago. It was bad, but not lethal. She was in a coma for 3 days, and when she woke up, she was confused. That is normal. But the first thing she told me was, "Who are you?" I thought she was making a joke or something, but she continued to act like she didn't know me. Her parents were also at the hospital, and she recognized them immediately. But she apparently did know her husband of 4 years. The doctors said that from her head injuries, amnesia is uncommon but not impossible. When she was discharged, she refused to come home with me, even when her parents told her they would be there too, and she went home with them. She still refuses to see or talk to me, even when she has seen proof of our relationship, pictures, videos, heard things at our place. The thing is, I don't believe her. I'm pretty sure she's doing all of this just to get a divorce, because the first thing she told me after going home with her parents was that she doesn't care if we're married, she doesn't know me and wants a divorce. I still don't know why though. Why would she lie instead of just telling me she wants a divorce? I never cheated, mistreated her, or anything like that. And even if she just doesn't love me, this is crazy. Let's be honest, amnesia is not nearly as common as it is in movies or TV shows, and apparently she doesn't remember the last 6 years. It seems crafted. I can't talk to anyone about this because when I tried to tell my mother-in-law about my suspicions, she lost it on me. But this doesn't make any sense. My wife is still pushing for a divorce, but apparently her attorney told her mediation and/or couples counseling is a better first step. She won't talk to me or acknowledge our relationship, but apparently already has a Tinder. It's driving me insane, and I don't know why she's doing this to me. Now for the top advice before reading the update. Faking amnesia would not be an easy thing, especially forgetting a whole 6 years. That is a lot of things she would have to remember to forget. There would be ways to find out if she's faking, like having someone who is not you ask her about some events over the last 6 years and see if she remembers anything. I started to doubt because she recognized the friend who introduced us, but they also met 6 years ago, just a couple months earlier. Does she remember COVID? My mom had a bout of amnesia in 2020. Not long-lasting, thank God, but it was a scary day. And I remember how surreal it was to explain quarantine rules to her and everything that happened. If she forgot the last 6 years, that includes COVID. I haven't asked her that, but I'll make her best friend ask her and see what she says. Mention the prenup you signed before your marriage and see her reaction. You'll know if she's faking. Give her the divorce she wants and move on with your life. It's sad and horrible, but isn't it better to find someone who wants to be with you? Are you sure her parents liked you? They were like second parents to me when my parents died a year into our relationship. They were my rock and invited me to live with them for a while to grieve in peace. My best friend had a heart attack and was in a coma for weeks. When she woke up, she remembered her parents and her brother, but not her husband. She asked her sister-in-law who the cute guy was. She didn't remember her son who was 12 or 13 either. She only remembered from a certain point before she met her husband. Eventually, over the next year, she regained a lot of memories, but she has extremely poor short-term memory. She can tell you her childhood phone number, but not her current one. Her asking who the cute guy her husband is was so wholesome, sending good wishes her way. It's been 15 years. She has come so far, but still has gaps. When he comes in the room, she'll joke and ask who the cute guy is, LOL. Now for the update a week later. Hello, it's me again. As you could probably see, I was not in a good place mentally speaking. Well, after making my first post, I tried to commit. I took a bunch of hypertension pills with a bottle of vodka. Thankfully, I ended up throwing up and called my best friend. He lives like an hour away, but I don't think it took him more than 20 minutes to get to my house. I was just on the floor without moving, and he took me to the hospital. Because I threw up most of the pills, I was given some fluids, and then I was committed to the psych ward for 4 days. My best friend decided to move in with me for the moment, and I have therapy appointments twice a week now. When I was released from the hospital, I found a bunch of texts from my in-laws asking me why I didn't pay for my wife's physiotherapy and therapy appointments, and I realized they were never worried about me. They didn't even ask if I was okay. They just asked for money. I realized this was going to kill me if I didn't do anything about it, so I called them and told them I agreed to the divorce and to tell my wife. But since she'll no longer be my wife, I won't pay for anything else and I want my car back. They tried to yell and I just hung up. My best friend found me a lawyer who is a friend of his, and we'll see what we can do to protect myself. I'm still very tired and very hurt, and I want to clarify that it's not that I don't believe my wife. I was just so heartbroken and drunk that I basically created a whole new alternative reality. Yesterday, my best friend went to retrieve my car because I don't have the energy to fight with anyone right now. It was in the middle of the night with a spare key, so we didn't even have to talk to them because my car was parked outside. I don't really know what I'm going to do after all this. Everything is still fresh and confusing, and everything hurts. But I can't fight anymore. Maybe this is all my own fault for fighting when everyone told me to just give up. I haven't heard anything from my ex, and I blocked my in-laws, but I assume we'll hear from them soon because I took my car and stopped all payments. I appreciate the kind words and those trying to reason with me, but at the moment I'm not ready to listen. Right now, I just want to get better and move on with my life. I asked for time off at my job so I can process everything better, and I'm just relaxing. I hadn't realized how badly I was sleeping until today, when I woke up around 2 p.m. I'll do my best to remember to update once the divorce is finalized, and my lawyer said we actually have a shot at not paying alimony or any medical bills, so I'm almost hopeful. Please take care of yourselves and enjoy the holidays. I'll try to do that myself too. Stay close to your loved ones in these times especially. The holidays can be as rough as they are joyful. I wish you all the best in the world, man. Good luck. Thank you. It's just me and my best friend this year. Your friend is a literal lifesaver. Hang in there, dude. I'm so sorry for what you're going through. Hopefully one day you'll be in a better spot, and this will feel like a different lifetime ago. Make sure you keep your car secured. Put a steering wheel lock so they can't steal it back with the key they have. He tried to make me move in with him at the beginning of all this, but I didn't listen. He really is a great man. Sorry you're going through this. My question though, do you still believe she's faking the amnesia? Is that what you mean by making up an alternate reality? I don't think she's faking it at the time. It was the better option than the love of your life don't remember you and doesn't want to be near you, and this might never change. To be honest, I don't think anyone can fake something like this from the waking up, but I wasn't thinking clearly and was in a very bad place mentally speaking. Next story. I started matching his effort and he accused me of cheating. Without getting into all the background, Hank and I have been together now for 20 years and have 2 kids. A few years ago, I felt our relationship was dying. We were past the toddler stage, and I tried everything I could think of to get it back. I communicated clearly, patiently, and consistently. He kept saying we were so happy, but truthfully, he was happy because I was going to great lengths to make him feel loved and appreciated and nurture our relationship, and he was doing nothing in return. I tried everything I could think of, and he'd just say, doing X isn't really my thing. I also tried to get him to take care of his mental and physical health, encouraged him to eat well, do physical activity with me and the kids, spend time with friends, etc. I shared TikToks about relationships since he was obsessed with the app. I always planned dates, made sure when sitters were hard to get, I'd plan an activity at home or lunch on a work day so we were still connecting. Had a no phones in bed rule and would ask for a cuddle every night. Texted to ask about his day. Made a jar for us to write love notes. He never engaged. Eventually, we had a pretty big blow up and I told him I needed to see some effort. He told me that I was too needy and he didn't need me to do any of that stuff and I was being dramatic. I realized it was the lack of any sort of reciprocation from him that was upsetting me, so I decided from then on I was going to match his level of effort. If he wouldn't do small gestures to show affection, neither would I. This was all about 1.5 years ago, and while I didn't drop off all effort immediately, I found a new balance for myself. Instead of the effort I was pouring into the relationship, I found new hobbies, strengthened other relationships, focused on my own physical and mental health. And I've been doing well. I am still a working mom, so it's not like I'm out late partying or anything, but usually I go out for a few hours a couple of days a week after the kids are in bed. Our relationship and intimacy both faded to basically zero. But I just figured that in this season of life, he was an exhausted working dad and didn't want any of that anyway. Last week was his birthday. I had the kids sing and told him he could order whatever he wanted for dinner. Old me would have made a big deal, thoughtful gift, special cake, home-cooked meal, and followed up with sending the kids for a sleepover on the weekend and gone all out with romance and lingerie. But I was matching his effort. Anyway, on Sunday he flipped out because apparently he was waiting to see if I had a surprise planned for him and realized I didn't. And then he accused me of cheating. Apparently I was showing all the classic signs of cheating by focusing on myself, not asking him for dates, not initiating intimacy, getting fit, and showing sudden unexplained change in behavior. He was also checking my sex toys to see when they moved as proof I still had a sex drive, and checking for new underwear. Which, of course I still have a sex drive. And of course I replace my underwear regularly. I wasn't buying anything sexy, just the same comfy styles I've always worn. I actually laughed at first when he accused me because of the absolute absurdity that I'd want another man to make me feel like crap in the midst of trying to work and raise little humans. But now that it's simmered for a few days, I'm so angry. First, that he is capable of researching and paying attention to the relationship only when it's negative. Second, that he violated my privacy by looking at my underwear and toys. But mostly because it was clearly all a lie. He did need a relationship and to feel loved and desired, and just didn't want to do any of the work and preferred to make me feel crazy, rather than put his phone down and engage with me. And now I just feel like he doesn't really like me or want me to be happy. I think this might be it for us. Edit to add, he believed me that I'm not cheating, and I pointed out I was treating him exactly as he treated me, and he backtracked hard. I just don't think I want to move forward. I would also say that he told you he didn't need the effort, and you were made to feel needy, so now you have refocused that energy to self-care. He believes me that I wasn't cheating now, and understands what happened. I brought up all our past convos and how I did the same thing for his birthday as he did for mine, and put the same energy into our day-to-day as him. I kind of think he believed all the stuff I did for us was just who I was as a person, not that I was consciously working at our relationship. When you told him all this, did he have the decency to feel shame, or did he double down? I wouldn't say he felt shame. He cried a lot and apologized. But he also reiterated, I'm just not good at that stuff. Like, no one is inherently good at that stuff. It takes constant effort. I never expected him to be a mind reader. I would literally say that thing X is important to me, or if you don't enjoy a certain thing, what ideas do you have that we could do together? He said he'll change, but he absolutely won't. I did say you can't have both. I'll come meet you halfway, and have been willing this whole time. He tried to play it off that he couldn't initiate or plan dates because I was acting disinterested in him. So I don't think he's really ready to take accountability. Last story. After my boyfriend died, I slept with his best friend, and it's eating me alive. Earlier this year, my boyfriend ended his own life. Before he was found, he was missing for several days. My mind has been stuck in this endless loop of what-ifs ever since. It's exhausting. It's like my brain won't let me accept that some things were outside of my control. We had been together for about 4 years. He was only 26 years old. About 2 months after he passed, I ran into one of his best friends, someone who was part of his extremely close friend group. Before everything happened, I always liked him, not in a romantic way. He's just a great guy. He was always there for my boyfriend during all of his mental health struggles, even though he struggled to understand it all himself. He knew sides of my boyfriend I didn't. He understood the parts of him he shared only with his closest friends. Seeing him again after everything, it hit me hard. It felt grounding, familiar, safe, like being around someone who still held pieces of the person I lost. We ended up going to a bar to talk. We drank way too much, opened up about things we'd never said out loud, cried, and eventually, we slept together. I know it came from grief and vulnerability, but the guilt is eating me alive. And what scares me more is that I feel this intense pull toward him now. Not just physically, but emotionally. It's like I'm desperate to be close to someone who was as close to my boyfriend as I was, maybe even closer. I know that might be unhealthy. He and my boyfriend had 2 other best friends in their tight-knit group. I keep thinking, what if he told them? They were always protective of my boyfriend. They loved him like a brother. And the idea of them finding out what happened makes me sick. I feel like they'd hate me, like they'd see me as disrespecting his memory or betraying him. I don't even know if they'd understand how complicated and grief-driven that night was. What if they think something was going on before he died? Even though nothing ever happened before, the thought terrifies me. The friend I slept with hasn't mentioned anything since texting me once the next morning. He said he hoped I got home safe and that he was sorry for everything. But we haven't talked about what happened, and now I feel like I made everything awkward to the point of no return. My best friend lost a boyfriend fairly young. He passed after an accident. She slept with his best friend because the grief brought them closer. Lots of guilt and doubt. They ended up dating for a while and split after about a year. I'll tell you what I told her at the time. You're not a bad person for seeking comfort in connection, especially when that person is one of few who can understand what you're feeling. Please be patient with yourself. This is how my brother met his wife. He was the best friend. She was the wife of the friend. First husband shot himself in front of her in the head during a fight. He lived, but isn't the same. The trauma brought them together. I think something a lot of people do on Reddit is give their opinions based on the best version of themselves and how they think they'd behave. None of us were in your shoes. Not everyone knows what it feels like to lose someone to suicide. No one can actually predict how they'd feel or act until they're in that situation. You feel guilty because you still love your boyfriend, but the reality is you'd probably feel guilt whether it was a stranger or his best friend. That's a natural part of grieving, and just something that you'll have to work through. I don't think you did anything wrong for what it's worth, and I think you'll figure it out one day at a time. Thanks, I appreciate that. Yes, I still love my boyfriend very much. I still cry over him all the time. I can't refer to him as my ex-boyfriend yet, and I can't refer to him as my dead boyfriend. I can still only talk about him in the present.